Hey everyone, it's Anjanette from AJ's Personal Touch. Um, Welcome to any new subscribers, and welcome back to my regular subscribers. And wow, I'm looking at this. Normally, when I tape on my computer, it gives me a really uh, messy. I just had the word in my head and I can't think of it now. Really scratchy looking recording, but when I put it up for you guys, it comes out clear, and it's clear today. Um, maybe the 2 hours I spent on the phone with Comcast the other day was worth it. Plus, I had a technician come out today, and he thinks he didn't do anything while he was here, but everything has been a lot clearer since he left, and it's only 10 o'clock in the It's going on 11 a.m. and I have been through so much already today. Today is Friday the 11th. I was not planning on taping. I have really nothing to show. I guess I could show the baby Afghan I've been trying to finish up. I finally got the start of the border to go around correctly. So, as I was watching uh, a documentary on Gilligan's Island on YouTube last night, I was crocheting it. I did not plan to watch that documentary, but it popped up from some other things that I was watching again that I had not planned on. And so I sat and crocheted and watched it. It was a 2 hour documentary. And then afterwards, the um, the first movie that they made after the show had been canceled came on, showing when they had gotten rescued. So, yeah, took me back to my childhood for a little while watching Gilligan's Island. It was kind of fun, and I got quite a bit of crocheting done. Excuse me, my throat hurts. I've done a lot of talking this morning, and my chest is killing me. I came on to vent and hoping that in my venting, maybe it will help some of you in the future um, with your insurance companies uh, and any hospital that you may have to have a procedure at. And if I can save anybody else any heartache in the future, it is well worth it. I need to check and make sure that all of these, no, no, just wanted me to rate my technician appointment for this morning. But I hope none of you have to deal with what I am dealing with, and I deal with it every couple months. Actually, I deal with it almost every single procedure that I have done, um, to be honest. And I just really need to vent. I know somebody else who I watch who has a really major illness. She's been venting about the stuff that's been happening to her lately. I know she says she tapes it and then lots of times she'll delete it. It just makes her feel better. So I'm hoping this will make me feel better because I really, really need to vent to somebody and I cannot call anybody right now because it's only 11 a.m. and everybody that I know that I talk to is on the West Coast, most of them. They're still in um, or at least that I talk to about this kind of stuff. I am having my procedure on Monday, which I have talked about with you guys a lot. And I am so looking forward to it because it's my pain block. I have this pain block done every 3 to 4 months. The last time I had it done was November. So November, December, January, February, March. 4 months. And it keeps me going. Without this, I don't even want to think of how bad my pain would get. I don't want to think of how bad it used to be. And all the times I had to go to the ER to get pain meds. And now they don't want to do that anymore for me again. I've been dealing with that. Um, I was just in the ER a couple weeks ago dealing with the pain in my chest and being told that, well, anybody who'd have a pain in their chest for a week, if they were having a heart attack, they'd be dead by now. But you're just fine. Fine, 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 fine. Oh my goodness, I wanted to smack that doctor if I heard the word fine one more time out of his mouth. And then talking to other people with chronic pain and hearing how if they go in for other things, how they're still treated like a chronic pain patient who is drug seeking. And if I really look back at it, that's kind of how I was treated that day, except for I wasn't asking for any drugs. I mean, drugs weren't even addressed. I didn't even get an IV that put in. Goodness. If I had to be poked a trillion times when I was feeling as bad as I did, I don't know how I would have handled that. I'm gonna leave you guys for just a second because I need another drink and my tea is gone. I just drank the last sip. I have been on the phone almost solid since this morning after the technician left. Before he had left, I tried to call the pre-cert department while he was outside checking things, and I was waiting, and I knew I had to call them today, and I was like, well, it's better to call them in the morning and find out that everything's taken care of than waiting and find out that it's not. Well, it's a good thing that I did that. Normally, I stay on top of things, and I would have called them on Monday. But with the way I've been feeling, I know Monday I was feeling okay, and I think because I was getting my walking in and doing different things, it went over my head. Um, so Tuesday I should have done it, and then I wasn't feeling well. Um, I know I slept a lot the last 2 days. Wednesday was an okay day, but I kept thinking, I was told that it was taken care of. It was really taken care of this time because I was told it was taken care of. Anytime I have any type of procedure, I need a pre-certification, or insurance is not going to pay for it. And they want to charge you even more if you don't have a pre-cert, um, than if you would have been paying 100% with a pre-cert. So I stay on top of them. And lots of times anymore, I don't even know who I'm supposed to call because the doctor who does the procedure that I'm having done on Monday, he was referred by my pancreatic doctor, and they, instead of me going to see this doctor and then set up my procedure appointment, it is, you need this procedure. I know you need this procedure. I'm calling him, so we can schedule it and get it set up. It's not a type of procedure that my pancreatic doctor can do. He does my other procedures when it comes to my pancreas. He cannot do a block. Um, so he works hand in hand with this other doctor. So he calls them and says, schedule it, and they schedule it. Then I have to deal with the place that it's scheduled from. Um, Not only at first did I have to deal with pre-certification, but I had to deal with insurance paying them at all because I live in South Bend, Indiana, and I have all of my procedures, well, most 99.9% of my procedures done in Indianapolis, because nobody wants to touch me up here because of all of my surgeries, how I'm messed up, and honestly, a lot of them don't like dealing with people who have HIV. Um, I shouldn't say that. There's a lot of good doctors here who do and who have no issues with it. But I have dealt with that with some of them. Um, so yeah, that's probably not really a factor in all of this. It's more of all the surgeries I've had in my stomach. And nobody likes to go in and work on work that somebody else has done. So I stay with my surgeon who's in Carmel, who again, we had to get special permission for me to go and see. And then I got sent to Indy, and insurance would like for me to stay in one place. Unfortunately, the specialists that I see, they're between the two places. Um, and they want to even send me to another place that's closer to home, which would be really nice with how gas is right now to cut out a good, oh, I don't know, 10, 15 miles off of our trip. But because of how insurance is, we still end up at the main campus at IU. And every single time I have to have something done, I have to stay on them about pre-certs. I'm not going to say where the hospital is exactly and all that. I mean, I already said a little too much, but like this time, I call pre-certification from my insurance, and they say no, we have not heard anything from them. And then I try to call pre-certification at the hospital, and nobody answers my call, and I leave a message. Well, I learned the hard way last time. I started weeks in advance last time, and I left message after message after message after message on the pre-cert line and never got any calls back. So finally, dealing with the nurses who call to get you pre-registered and all of that the week before, they gave me the nurse manager's number. Um, Plus, they gave me a couple other managing nurses numbers in case I couldn't get through to the one. Um, Actually, it started with different ones. I don't even know if they were managing nurses. Let me see here real quick. I have started writing my information down in this book so that every time I have an insurance issue with billing or whatever the issue is, I can go in and look and see exactly who I've talked to, what time I've talked to them. I used to write everything, let me find one, on the back of envelopes because that's what was handy, and then I would lose the envelope. So finally, I was like, I'm going to start writing this. Sometimes I'd lose the envelope. Other times I just misplaced them, and would take me like a half an hour to an hour to find the envelope. Um, so now I'm trying to make sure that I write it all in here. And the last time, like everything that has happened today is on here and back there. So front and back of a whole page. Um, but I was given, left another message. I was given two different charge nurses numbers, and I called and left a message on the first charge nurse's number a couple times and never heard anything. And then I got the managing nurse's number, and she's the one who finally called me back last time and got it all taken care of and straightened out for me, and so that I could breathe a sigh of relief. And all of that took until the Friday before my procedure. But last time my procedure was on a Tuesday, so at least I had an extra day of being stress free. This time I had to get done today because I have to be at my procedure at 7 o'clock in the morning on Monday. So I originally call around 8 o'clock in the morning, find out that pre-cert has not gone through. I finally get a call from all the messages that I left around 9 o'clock. I called after the technician called, and that's when I left the messages, but that was more like 8:30. He wasn't here very long. So 8:45 ish. So around 9 o'clock, I got a call back from not the managing nurse herself, but a different nurse who happened to be at home working from home. So I wanted to give her the fax number for the place, and she was like, "Well, I can't send anything because I'm at home." But she worked with me so really nicely. She went back, she could get into their system. She found the notes, and she called me back and said, "Hey, pre-certification from here called pre-certification from your insurance company on this date at this time and was told the procedure did not need a pre-certification, so you don't have to worry about it." And I told her, no, 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 no. I have needed pre-certification for this every single time I've gone in. I needed it last November. I said at the beginning when they told me pre-cert wasn't needed, then they refused and didn't want to pay and did not want to accept the pre-cert after the fact and said no, I still needed to pay, even though I had stayed on their cases and they had called and was told pre-certification was not needed, and I was told the same thing. Well, anything like this ever happens to you, please, 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 one of the first main things you need to make sure that you have is the complete name of the procedure that you're having. I'm having an EGD with a celiac plexus block, or with it all the way written out, I am having, and let me see, I wrote the whole thing out. I am having an endoscopic ultrasound with celiac plexus block. And I believe the shorthand for it is EGD, because I think that's what the pre-cert person told me it was. Anyway, um, excuse me. After I told her that I knew that it needed to be paid for, she tried to make a couple more calls. I tried to call pre-certification with insurance back, and I had to leave a message. So I left a message telling her the information that I had gotten. Then I called the lady back again and got the exact phone number that they had called, because she tried to give it to me the first time, and I told her, I said, well, I used the number here in town, so I don't have the 800 number. And I wasn't thinking, yes, I do. It was on my insurance card. So I pulled out my insurance card. I got the number from her. She gave me the number. She had already given me the date and the time that they had called and were told that they didn't need the pre-certification. And I can't remember. She gave me some other bit of information that made me call back and leave another message. Oh, the first message I had called was I hadn't gotten the fax number from her, and they had not given me a pending case number, which is something that they always do. So if you ever have to get pre-cert and then you have to jump through all the hoops like I had to do, and you've talked to pre-cert to begin with, you make sure you tell them you want a pre-cert, a pending certification number, because that makes everything easier, because if they have to send files and everything and fax things over, they can put this number on the paperwork and they know, exactly what it's for, where it's going, whose it's for, and all of that. So one of those is important. She didn't give me one. And I told her, I said, and the last time the nurse actually called and talked to the nurse down there, or the lady in pre-cert, and she said, oh, we're not allowed to do that. You would have to sign paperwork and stuff. And I know I had previously signed that paperwork, but I didn't want to, deal with all that. And at the time, I was thinking, oh my goodness, I don't have my phone numbers anymore. What did I do with them? I know I probably threw that envelope away. And then I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I've been writing everything down in my booklet. Let me check my booklet, make sure I wrote it in there. And sure enough, I did. I wrote every single number that I called and left messages for before. So I did the same, as I said, and I started off with the messages. Well, then then she calls me back, and the nurse calls me back, not pre-certification. The nurse calls me back and says that she talked to pre-certification and that they said no, a pre-cert is not required. I thought she meant she called the insurance pre-certification. By the end of the conversation, it dawned on me she was talking about the pre-certification person at the hospital. So I asked her, I said, which pre-certification are you talking about? And she said, hospital. And I was like, okay. I said, have you talked to pre-cert yourself from the insurance company? And she said, no. All she had talked to was in the hospital. She said, but I will call them for you. I'll call this number that I have, which I told her was the right number. She said, I will call them and I'll leave them a message. She says, since I know you've already left 2 messages, more than likely I'll have to leave a message. Didn't have to leave a message. She got through right away. And then she told me that when she talked to the lady on pre-cert, who happened to be the same exact lady who told them that no pre-cert was needed, that when she asked about it and then had told her that that was the results they had gotten the first time, she said the lady got really quiet. And the only reason why I figured she said the lady got really quiet is because it sounded like she was trying to put the blame on her. Um, and she said, and then she told her I had the procedure done in November. And then off of the information from my November pre-cert, they were able to get it taken care of. And she gave me my actual certification number and how long it will last. She said, so this is the last time I'll call you. She said, I just wanted to give you this information and, good luck with your procedure. And I told her, thank you. And I was like, woo, I had a big sigh of relief. But then I'm thinking, what about next time? What if this happens again? And I had heard my phone beeping in when she had called me. And I was thinking it was probably pre-cert through my insurance company calling me to give me the same information. Sure enough, I checked voicemail. It was them. They left me a voicemail, gave me the same number, the same information, and said if I had any other questions, to call them back. Well, I wasn't going to. And then I thought, you know what? I'm going to call her because I have a question to ask. I want to make sure this does not happen ever, ever again. So I called her back and I told her, I said, and she said, well, I tried to call you and I left the information. I said, yes, I know. Thank you. I got it. And I happened to be talking to the nurse who had called you at that point in time because she had called me to give me the information. And she was like, oh, okay. I said, but I called because I have a question. And she's like, okay, what's your question? And I told her, I said, I want to know, how can we keep this from happening in the future? The next one that gets scheduled, which I know the doctor will probably schedule it like he did last time before I even leave from having this one done on Monday. More than likely, I'll leave on Monday with my next one scheduled. And she told me, she said, well, you need to tell them to make sure they give me the full name. And I was like, okay. And she said, when they called the original time, all they said was that I needed to have, and like I said, I believe it's EGD is the name of it. I've seen it so many times, but I always question myself. Um, but just she was just told that I needed my notes again because already I'm drawing a blank on the actual words. that I needed an endoscopic ultrasound. She said, endoscopic ultrasounds, you don't need a pre-cert for that. She said, what they failed to tell me is that you were having a celiac plexus block with it. That's what you need the pre-cert for. And I was like, okay. Um, so I said I had wondered about that because when I was told that you had told them that no pre-cert was required, at first when she told me, when I asked her for the exact name of the procedure, because I keep forgetting it because there's so many words in it, um, I said I wasn't, sure because at first she just told me the first part of it. And I said, yeah, but I'm getting a pain block on top of that, correct? And she said, well, yeah, it's with the celiac plexus block. I said, okay. I said, that's what I thought. Well, in my brain, I had kind of put two and two together at that point in time, but I didn't say anything about, I wonder if they mentioned the block when they called. Well, evidently they didn't. They left that part out. So she said for me to let them know, if I had a way of letting them know, that the next time that I have to have this done, to tell them to use the number from my previous pre-cert. So for my appointment on Monday, to use the number for that one so that they can look it up and they can know exactly what I'm going in for, and they can just go ahead and give them the number that they need. Or if they need any backup paperwork, or anything, they can let them know then. But that way they know exactly what they're dealing with. They know that a pre-cert is required and they can get it taken care of with no hassle to me. So I just wanted to come on here and, like I said, vent. I'm very upset with how this morning has turned out. I mean, not how it's turned out, but everything, all the hoops I had to jump through, all the red tape I had to go through. I am so sick and tired of having to do this every time because when you're sick and you're in pain, sorry, I tend to cry when things get me upset like this. But when you are sick and you're in pain and you're dealing with this, every single time you need to have a procedure, and you need to have that procedure because you are at the most terrible pain that you can have from a flare up and everything. You don't have time to sit and make phone call after phone call after phone call to try to make sure that your pre-certs are taken care of. It's just so ridiculous. I am sick. I am in pain. Her being on top of my chest right now is really making things painful. But yet, it helps me when I breathe. Doctor told me I need to splint myself, which is to press my hand against myself when I breathe. So her laying here is like a permanent splint, but yet her weight is hurting it. So if I struggle to talk a little bit more right now, that is why. She will be moving in a minute because I will be moving in a minute because I do want to show you what I was working on. But anyway, they said to give the number. So I tried to call the lady back again, the nurse who I dealt with, and I got her voice message. So I left her a voice message telling her what I was told. And then she nicely texted me back after she heard my voice message and told me to please get in touch with her at that number, which is her cell phone number, and let her know when my next appointment is so that she can let them know and how to take care of it so that I can have a pain free, stress free time between this procedure and the next one. And I don't have to jump through all of these hoops and take everything again. She was really nice. She was really sweet. She listened to me through the whole thing and me telling her how frustrated I was because how things I keep being told back and forth different things. Like, I get a fill every couple months for my pain pump. If you don't take care of the pain pump, if you don't refill it, first of all, you're not going to have the medicine to take care of your pain. But second of all, once the pain pump goes dry, and if it keeps working, it's just going to overheat, and then it can actually cause death. So you don't want to have an empty pain pump. An alarm will go off. It will alert you first, and then you've got to get to your doctor and you need to get it taken care of. So it used to be after I got it put in for the first 4 years, I would go in and get my fills, no problem. Now all of a sudden, I need a pre-cert, and keep getting sent back and forth between departments, and I still haven't gotten it quite taken care of. Um, because yes, I have it filled by the same doctor every month, but the medication actually comes from a facility in Texas. So I get told by his office that I have to call the facility, and the facility tells me, no, 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 the drug end of it's okay and taken care of. You need to take care of things on the doctor's end. So everything keeps yo-yoing there. Another thing that I can say that also helps greatly um, is when I have huge issues and I can't get them taken care of, I call and talk to the person in HR from where my husband works, who's in charge of insurance, and she helps me out immensely. And I never knew it before because the places that I worked at that I got insurance from, um, we were never really told who to go to when we had issues. Lots of time we went to our boss, and they would tell the person who would who needed to take care of it what was going on, and then it would get taken care of. Now that I think about it, every once in a while we got sent to the office secretary, and I don't know if she was the one who was actually in charge of it, but she would take down our information, and then she would call somebody, and then she would, let us know what was going on. So, yeah. Now I have a direct number to the person who's in charge of all of it through his job. Most of the time I have to leave a message. She does get back to me. It may not be in a timely manner, but she does get back to me. Um, and she's been a real, real sweetheart. And I'm not going to tell you her name, but her name is really close to mine, which I find kind of ironic and special because my name is so unfamiliar, or at least it was until I got on Facebook and then I saw so many people who have my name. Anyway, yeah, that's been my day. That's my big gripe. I am just so sick of jumping through these same hoops month after month after month. And insurance just makes me want to explode anytime I think of having to call them. And now, on to a better note, crochet and yarn. Let me show you what I was working on. I will have some yarn to show you, just a very, very small order that I placed really this morning. I also, when I was trying to finish up the last full row of this edging, I was watching Cinnamon Stitches, and I saw one of her newest ones where she was talking about yarn at Michael's, and then how she saw yarn at Michael's, which was actually the same kind of yarn that Premier had, but they're discontinuing it. And she showed how big the skeins were and told what the price was at Premier, which I had just seen it not too long ago. I had went and checked their clearance and saw it, but I didn't realize exactly. I didn't read everything closely, so I didn't know that it was like a huge ball of number of DK baby yarn for, I think it was either $3 and something or $4 and something. $4 and something. Because I ended up ordering four. I got two mint green and two gray. They were out of the pink. At the time they had pink, but here is the baby Afghan. Last time that I was on and showed it to you guys, I was working on this edging here. And it turns out, and I had already frogged it once, all the way back to the beginning. Well, to the first row. The first row is just single crochets to get enough, the right number of single crochets across in order to do this edging here, which is called a cable. Each little ones here are called a cable edging. Plus you have your regular cables, the diagonal cables in here. Which I just think this is such a gorgeous blanket. The picture of it and in the instructions is all in one color. I can show you that. All in yellow, right over here. And I wanted to do pink and gray because it's my niece's favorite colors and has a lot of her daughter's stuff in pink and gray. I had wanted to have this to her 6 months ago, but I was having some problems with the cabling. I had to do a lot of frogging in this, but for it to come out as beautiful as it is, it was worth it. And then I would get sick and then I couldn't work on it. And then it's one of those that you can't just pick it up and remember how to do it. You need to actually read what you're doing. But once you get going, it's like, oh, it's easy. But once you put it down for a while, at least for me, I have to reread it and get going again. So I'm doing the edging in gray. I finally got the right number of cords done last night in order to start the easy granny square part of it. Well, or granny style part of it. So I think I just started row 4 because you've got 1, 2, the one that you can't see, 2 is where the cording is, and then this here is 3, and this is 4. I just started row 4, and you need to go to row 10 with the granny stitch, and then you do another edging row, and then I want to say you do another 6 rows as you did here. No, another 7 rows like you did here. Then you do edging again, and then I think you do like 2 more rows before you fasten off. So what I am thinking of doing, and tell me what you think of this. Originally, I was going to do all of the edging in just this gray marl color. And then I got to thinking that the next time when I have to do these cables for the edging, that it might be really pretty to set it off by doing them in pink, then doing the gray granny, and then doing the pink edging again, and then the 2 rows of the gray granny. Tell me what you think. At first I'm like, no, because I didn't do the cable edging here in pink. But I think that's okay because having it in gray here sets it off because it's in contrast to what I was doing. So I figured if I take the last 2 and do them in pink, then that will put them in contrast to the gray as it's expanding on the edging. So let me know what you think. I won't really know what I'm going to do until I get to that row. I don't know if it'll be easy just to do those cables, like change the color and then do the cables. Um, I think now that I've learned how to do it and they're not so hard to do, I think it might be easy enough. So tell me what you think. Do you think that would look okay if I do it that way? I've got plenty of pink left over. I bought more pink than I needed because I was changing it up and it doesn't say, like how much yarn was used in the middle section. And now I estimated, I figured out how many skeins I would need altogether. And then I like put it in half, thinking that half of it was done in the center and then half would be on the edging. The only thing is that when you're doing the edging and going around and around, you end up using a lot of yarn. So I'm hoping I have enough gray to do it all. But I'm sure I do. I have 3 balls. And they're bigger size balls. They're not a bigger size. I don't think that they're just 3 ounces. Yeah, they're 5 ounce. They're 5 ounce skeins. So I thought they were a bigger skein than a normal 3 ounce skein. So yeah, tell me what you think. If you've gotten this far, if you got bored in my rant, I completely understand because I mean, a lot of people don't like to deal with insurance at all, let alone talk about insurance. So this is going on 41 minutes. I will probably show the baby Afghan and ask the question again in my next video that I make, just because I am sure that most of you are not going to watch all the way to the end. So with that said, try to have a wonderful weekend. I know for a lot of us in the US right now, we have snow. But just look at it this way, like our weather person has said, it's only going to be around for a couple days and then it's back to spring weather. So, yeah, it's not so nice that we have it going on. Like, we have a St. Patrick's Day parade every year, which honestly, our city puts on a couple parades every year that I never knew of. The only one that I've ever known of my entire life was the Memorial Day parade. And my mom used to take us to that every once in a while when we were little. It was on the west side, which we lived on the west side. And then when I was in high school, I was actually in the parade with the marching band. So yeah, there's that. But there's also a Christmas parade that I never knew about, and St. Patrick's Day parade. And at the end of the St. Patrick's Day parade, they turn our river green. All my years, I never knew that they did that until like just a couple of years ago. And now I'm disabled, so I can't go and see it all anyway. The Christmas parade, I knew that they had a day when they introduced Santa to, city, like Santa just got here. And then he goes to the mall. But they have a big tree lighting, and you can go and see Santa. So I didn't realize there was a parade before it. So not until this year when I was listening to the news. So yeah, that tells you when you get busy when you're older. And I feel kind of bad because I'm like, I could have taken my daughter to these things when she was little. But then again, she really wasn't into all that kind of stuff and didn't like going to that kind of stuff. So, it's a catch-22. It depended on what age she was at. Some ages she loved that kind of stuff, and other ages she was just like, no, thank you, mom. So, but anyway, they were originally supposed to have our St. Patty's Day parade tomorrow, and now it's been changed to next Saturday. and after St. Patty's Day has been here. I know there's usually a St. Patty's Day pub crawl, and I don't know if they had it last year or not, if that's one of the things that had reopened at the time when they started reopening things, or if it things weren't reopened till after that. So I don't know if they're having that this year or not, because I haven't really heard much about it. Now that's what I've heard about over the last couple of years, and that wasn't anything I was really interested in going to, especially after I got sick and everything. I really can't drink alcohol very often. Once in a while, my doctor had said, like, if we go out for anniversary dinner or something, but my husband really doesn't want me drinking it at all. So when I'm out with him, I don't ever drink, even though I'd really like to every once in a while. My doctor said, the antioxidants and that and, red wines and stuff is really good for you. But alcohol in general is not good for anybody who has pancreatitis. So, with all of that said, I am going to go try and have a good weekend, even with the snow. Enjoy the last snow that they're saying it is of the season. If they're saying that around you, I don't know where you live. Maybe it's not your last snow. It's supposed to be our last snow. And we're supposed to get back to spring like weather next week, which I am looking so forward to. Spring is my absolute, positively absolute favorite season. So, the fact that I'm having my procedure on Monday, I will be laid up for at least a week, maybe two. It usually takes me 2 weeks before I start feeling better. I keep on saying 1 week when I've been talking about my procedure because I keep hoping it's going to go down to 1 week. Um, I do plan on walking during that, even when I'm not feeling good, unless I'm feeling like I have the last couple days. I hate this, but this is going to be the third day in a row. I'm not going to be able to walk unless I feel better later. When I'm done here, I'm going to lay down and take a nap because I am exhausted and I can barely keep my eyes open. And my throat hurts so much and my chest is killing me. Actually, I'm going to give myself a bolus from my pain pump, which is I have so many boluses in a day to add a little extra pain meds um, that I receive. So I have a little device that I have to put over where the pump is, and it lets it release a little bolus of pain meds. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to lay down with the cat who keeps crying at me and let her mama me like she wants to. When I'm laying down, she won't be directly on my chest, and it won't hurt so bad. And I just need to get a little bit more sleep. And I will be on live on Crystal, the Yarny chicken and cat lady, and Crazy Cat Lady tonight at 7:30 my time. Yeah, I believe it's 6:30 Central, so 7:30 my time. So hope to see some of you there. And I am going to go and lay down and make sure that I feel okay to be there tonight. So, love you guys. And remember, you matter and you are beautiful and gorgeous and handsome. And no matter what, there's always somebody there who you can count on if you need somebody. Today, my somebody was you guys. So, I hope if you listen to my rant that you learned something from it that can help you. Talk to you guys later.